Let's bring in Hank Sheinkopf, legendary campaign consultant, strategist on the Democratic side, but he's worked with everybody. Hank, it's good to see you.
Thank you, Chris.
Is my read wrong on this, Hank? I mean, is this the way to do it, is to tease it out throughout the course of the night and put him late?
I think it's wrong. They should have showcased the guy. It's the least you could do. But it's consistent with the Democratic strategy of let's bring in the new and get rid of the old. If you looked at tonight's show, it was a great show. The next generation and the generation that will come after that generation with the topics, not Joe Biden and not the past portion of what the Democratic Party was.
How do you like what they're emphasizing tonight, and what do you want to hear emphasized more?
I think that emphasizing unity is very important. They've got to have a good show. They've got to somehow get around the fact that the demonstrators outside have been a little kind of vocal and noisy. And they've got to show unity and a great sense of the future of this country. That's fine. And is that a winning strategy? Well, it takes up time and it takes time away from Donald Trump, which is what they're really trying to do.
What do you think about the frontal attacks on Trump?
Smart. Why? There are ads that we don't see in marginal states right now going after her. I think there's one ad the Republicans or one of their independent committees have that found the migrant, as I said in your program, I think would occur, who shot a cop, and that'll be, a point of discussion. You're going to see more of that. So the more unity, the more they can crowd the space with a new generation of people, the better the opportunities the Democrats are going to have to buy up time. In other words, to use get that time to move between now and Election Day. It's 76 days starting tomorrow. They got to make sure no one ever heard of Donald Trump if they can.
Is the most important X factor in whether or not Kamala Harris could win this election, how galvanized women are on the issue of reproductive rights or freedom?
You're exactly on the mark, I think. Reproductive rights and reproductive freedoms are going to be critical in suburban areas. You'll see it certainly in Pennsylvania, where people are misreading the state very much. The problem is not in the east of Pennsylvania. The problem is in western Pennsylvania. They hate government. They hate change. They're very Catholic, as we've talked about, you and I have talked about before on the air. They're very different than anything we've seen, and we better play to them. The Democrats should if they intend to win.
What do you believe you hear from Biden tonight, and what matters about this moment for the Democrats?
The decency of their appeal is what Joe Biden will talk about. The accomplishments they have to dispel the Trump lies about the performance of the economy and the performance of the country. And he's got to somehow make people believe, frankly, that Kamala Harris can be the commander-in-chief of the most powerful army and armed forces ever put together in the universe at a time when we're close to war.
Can the man who saddled her with her biggest albatross, which was saying he was going to pick a woman, can he now relieve her of that?
Very tough. The problem is, in sports, you say, let's go to the tape. Everybody remembers everything because they've seen it on television and they'll see the footage pretty quickly. They're wed to a certain extent of all the things that occurred during the Biden administration. Question is, can she, in 70 some odd days now, create her own persona that is beyond assailing by her own party? And that's part of her problem.
Do you think that the amount of time is a blessing or a curse? I think that less time is better for her.
Me too. Less time is much better for her. Why? Because it takes at least 350 points. Today with the clutter, about 1,000 points, which is 10 impressions to get a spot into people's brains. We're going to see more ads we've never seen before.
Hold on a second, Hank. Explain that to me. I know what you're talking about because you taught me this like 50 years ago, but explain to people what you're talking about with the metric of points.
Metric of points. 100 points, gross rating points, is a measure, for example, of how we determine whether television has any penetration. 100 points mean we've got what? We've got one impression of X number of one spot in X population we define we need, like one market. If we get 350 points, we have 3.5 impressions. Today, because of the clutter on the air, you need 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 impressions, which is one of the reasons why the costs of television and the cost of campaigns have gone up so much, and why the networks are charging so much. Why? They got to stay in business. Politics is a subsidiary of the broadcasting world because it creates money for broadcasters and companies.
Hey, thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your screen. And don't forget, click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.